Welcome and thank you for joining me at the table once again. I'm Thomas Dodderwick, and joining me today is Bishop Michael Warfel, and we are going to talk about the annual Catholic Appeal. Bishop Warfel, thanks for joining me.
Oh, it's great to be here with you.
The annual Catholic Appeal this year really felt different than in years past. And we've changed a number of things. We did some changing last year, and we changed it this year. And now we're kind of coming to the end of it. We've gotten used to seeing it year-round, but now we're saying we're going to end in May.
Correct. It's for many, many years, actually, I believe it's over 4 decades, the former Care and Share, which had an attached assessment to all the parishes and missions, went on through the entire year for all practical purposes. And of course, for over 10 years, I've been working toward having a pure appeal to give people the opportunity to make a discernment and decision in supporting the ministries and the mission of the diocese.
Why is that important to you that the diocese, if you will, not impose a fee or an assessment to a parish, but rather it be a true appeal?
Well, for me, it's a matter of faith, and a matter of stewardship. In fact, a word that you could just interchange with stewardship is discipleship. And the Lord has called us all to be disciples, that we pattern our life on the Lord. And of course, His stewardship was to die on the cross. He gave His total self for us. So stewardship is for us to give even just a fraction of who we are, what we own, for the benefit of others.
I know it would be difficult for you to pick a favorite, but speak maybe about 2 or 3 of your top priorities that are funded through the annual Catholic Appeal.
Well, a primary need is support of vocations to priesthood. Earlier this year, I did interviews with 23 of the pastors and asking them what is the priority need for the diocese after I am retired from office. And what surfaced to the top was the need to promote vocations. And so that is a key area. And of course, supporting our retired priests, some of them who are in great need and who didn't provide for their financial futures, and especially those who are ill. The annual Catholic Appeal helps to provide for that support.
The annual Catholic Appeal is important to our diocese because it funds about half of our budget. And while we really focus on our goal of $1.7 million for this year's appeal, you and Bishop Fleming have also focused on a different goal for this year of participation. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it gets back to the question of stewardship. I recently wrote a letter for all the parish bulletins in the diocese and addressed the issues of stewardship. And the participation is for people to be responsible how they're living their faith. It's not that they have to give their whole life savings to the diocese. And in fact, if the greatest proportion of our Catholic population is participating, it's really a minimal amount of each one's income, and that makes it easier for all the people who benefit from the church to express their stewardship.
I know participation is so important to you and Bishop Fleming that earlier, whenever we rolled out that video at the very beginning of the campaign, people see you and Bishop Fleming in the video filling out a card. And I know you went to Becky and wanted to make sure you actually were the first to pledge for this campaign. Why is that important to you?
Well, I think it's important for leadership to demonstrate that they really are committed to what we are asking others to commit to. And I think the first thing to do is to lead, and to do it, in this instance, with your pocketbook.
And right now, we are approaching the last weekend of the active campaign. We're going to try to wrap up by the end of May here. You had a letter out in bulletins this past week.
Correct.
In most parishes. You want to say anything about maybe a bullet point from that letter?
Well, I actually had 4 different points in it, but it's really a matter of, in a nutshell, asking for people's commitment to express their faith in a material way. You know, and it's the tendency, I think, for people is to use their surplus. Discipleship calls for people to do a little sacrifice. As again, the image for all of this is Christ on the cross. He gave his all. Can we not just give 2% of our all?
With the end of the campaign coming, where are we currently standing with pledges and donations?
I don't know the number of pledges, but with donations, I believe it's about 1.4 million, more or less. So we're about $300,000 short of our goal.
And that compares in years past. Are we trending ahead? Are we trending behind?
Well, we are definitely trending ahead, and because I think we're ahead now within this 4-month period, to where previous years it would have taken us the entire year to get to this point. So people are really responding.
And do you think that that's because of the new way of expressing where these funds are going, or what would you say might be the?
I'd say it's definitely because of the true appeal. There are people who have never participated before. Anecdotally, I know they're participating because they've said, well, now that it's a free appeal, then I'm going to donate.
We've seen Becky going out to really promote it in the parishes. Are you getting any feedback of her travel?
I've heard a lot of people that said that when she's there, they really understand better what the annual Catholic appeal is about, and they actually. She's energized some people. Anecdotally, there's one woman who came up to her after Mass, and she hadn't been giving anything, and she had some misinformation. And when Becky was able to explain that the accurate information, now she made a $50 contribution.
Bishop Warfel, thank you for taking time today to talk about the annual Catholic appeal and why it's important to the Diocese of Great Falls-Billings.
Okay, great. I think it's a step in the right direction for the diocese.